Today we're going to be talking about how to safely travel with a firearm in your RV. Now then, this isn't necessarily a video about whether you should or whether you shouldn't. This is all about how to do it safely. There are some federal protections that you are able to travel across state lines with a firearm. Now then, many people like to shoot recreationally. Some people carry a firearm for protection. No matter which camp you are in, or maybe you don't carry one at all, you do need to know some things when it comes to RVing with a firearm, because especially in something like mine, which is a leisure travel van, it is one contained vehicle, and so there are several rules and regulations about how to carry your firearm. Now then, this is your first time on the channel, I invite you to subscribe, because we're always talking about leisure travel vans, RVs, gear, gadgets, and everything in between. And so hit that subscribe button, and appreciate that as well. Now then, let's get into exactly how to travel with a firearm in your RV. Okay, let me start out by first saying, please don't take this video as your legal advice. It's not that at all. You know, the burden of responsibility falls on you to know every state and federal law when it comes to this subject. So make sure you do your due diligence, do your own research. But the main thing that I want to talk about is FOPA, which is the Firearm Owners Protection Act. That is a federal law that protects us as American citizens to be able to travel across state lines with a firearm. Now then, whether or not you're able to carry that firearm, out in the open, like we can here in Texas, that's going to be a totally different subject. So you need to do that research. There's a couple of apps that you can download that will tell you if a state has reciprocity, if you have whether they have constitutional carry, or whether they, will accept your license to carry a firearm. But that's a totally different subject. We're really going to be talking about how you can get from point A to point B with your firearm in your RV. So let's talk about FOPA. My advice, print this out so that you have it, so that you're well aware of every single caveat that you need to follow in order to fall under this protection. You might, if you do get pulled over and the officer knows that you have a firearm, whether you told him or whether he finds it, that you can show him this. I don't think it'll do that much good, because the burden is not going to be on him to see if you fall under that. He's going to pass that on to the prosecutors or the federal courts or local courts, whoever it may be that look at this particular subject. My point is, don't get pulled over. So drive conservative. Don't do anything, that you could possibly even have an interaction with a law enforcement official. Now then, let's get into the 3 rules that you must follow to fall in this protection. Okay, rule number 1 states that you must 100% be able to lawfully own a firearm in the state of your origin and then the state of your destination. Doesn't really matter the states in between as you follow these rules. This is what this law is protecting you against, is these states that you may not, that may not be so friendly towards you carrying a firearm. So again, make sure that you are lawfully able to own a firearm in the state of your origin and your destination. Okay, rule number 2 states that the firearm must be unloaded, locked up, and not accessible to the driver or a passenger. So what does this mean? It cannot be in the glove box. It cannot be in the center console. It can't be anywhere in that front cab. So for us in our leisure travel van, we do have a safe that is lockable. And so I'm assuming that will be okay. I'm not telling you that it is, but I'm assuming that if you put a firearm, put a handgun unloaded in that safe, lock it up, it's inaccessible to the driver, the passenger, to that front cab. I'm assuming, but you need to do your own due diligence to find out. Now then, if you're in an automobile, the trunk is going to be the best place. If you're in an SUV, lock it up, padlock it in a gun case, whatever it may be, put it in the very back. That's probably going to be your best decision there. But again, do your own due diligence. Figure that out for yourself. Don't take this video as advice. And then rule number 3 states that you must not cease traveling. So if you're going across several states, and again, you've determined that, yes, I can own the gun in the state that I'm originating in, and I can own the gun in the state that I am going to, then as you cross across those other states, you must not cease traveling. That means no overnight stays, no stopping for sightseeing, nothing. I would not stop at all. If you have to stop for a restroom break or for gas, I'm assuming that will be okay. I don't know. It doesn't say that. It just says don't cease traveling. And so just get across those states as quickly as you can. So that is basically what the Firearm Owners Protection Act says, that it protects you as you go across those states. Now then, if you do get stopped, again, it is not going to be that police officer's job to say, oh, you fall under this act, this federal act. Well, see you later. I doubt that will happen. It could be a very costly and time-consuming situation. So again, drive conservatively. Don't give any law enforcement officer a reason to have an interaction with you, and just keep going. Get to the state of your destination. Keep it locked up. Keep it unloaded, and make sure that you are lawfully able to own the weapon in the origin and the destination. So that basically is the way that you can travel with a firearm in your RV. And again, a couple of apps that you can look at, some maps that will tell you if a state is going to be a little more friendly to your situation, and ones that aren't. The ones that aren't mostly going to be up in the Northeast and California. Those are the most least unfriendly gun states. And so, you know, if you can avoid those with a firearm, just don't go. If you have to go through or stay in those states, leave your firearm at home. But anyway, so that is what I have taken from this federal law and the way that I see that you can RV with a firearm. Put your comments down below what your thoughts are. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and we will see you next week.